Want to know about British history? You better get your hands dirty. Don't bury your head in a guidebook. Ask a brickie. A chippy or a roofer? Ever since I were a boy, I've had a passion for our past. So, I'm going to apprentice myself to the oldest masonry company in the country, mastering their crafts and scraping away the secrets of Blighty's poshest piles. From castles to cathedrals, music halls to mansions, palaces to public schools. These aren't just buildings, they're keys to opening up our past and bringing it back to life. Today I'm in Doncaster, helping to restore one of its finest buildings, the magnificent Mansion House. Doncaster, who needs Florence?
Correct.
I'll be finding out how the other half parted.
30 gallons of beer, 10 gallons of red and white wine.
These sound like my sort of parties, really. I'll be trying to help the roofers. I've got a couple there.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens.
Yes, you said that through gritted teeth. And seeing if I can get away with one of the biggest prizes in horse racing. If I can buy a horse, this could be mine. Oh, mine. See ya. Doncaster, the jewel in the crown of North Yorkshire, the birthplace of horse racing, and also the legendary locomotive, the Flying Scotsman. It boasts 2 Norman castles and more Georgian buildings than you can shake a stick at. But top of the list is their mansion house. Mansion houses were designed to provide accommodation for the mayor, along with rooms to hold civic functions. Only 5 were ever built in the UK, and Doncaster's was unique. It was the only one planned with purely pleasure in mind. A historical market town in South Yorkshire, Doncaster's wealth and prestige grew in the 18th century, and so did the council's ambitions. They wanted their town to be the centre for fashionable society, so decided to construct the most badass building in the north. Opened in 1749, it has an impressive array of entertaining spaces. But its original roof needs to be replaced and the front facade has lost its sparkle. Construction firm William Ainley are on site to do the works, and I've come to meet site manager Steve Quinn. But first, I need to climb up 6 stories. Hey, Steve.
Dave, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, bud.
Good man.
This is your world in the sky, isn't it?
Hey, this is beautiful. Look at it. And day like a day, October, and we've got the sun out. Nice guy over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that.
Only
Ready for rain, look. And we've got a big roof
Doncaster.
here.
Who needs Florence?
Correct.
Hey! What have you got going on here, Steve?
Right, this is the part of our main scopes of works, right, is where we're replacing the main ballroom roof with
Right.
slate, Welsh slate.
Tell you what, I don't envy those lads' jobs. They've got a head for heights. You know, I'm old on to me really, and I know I don't have to. What's the budget on a job like this, Steve?
The budget for this particular job is £300,000.
It doesn't sound a lot, really, considering what I can see.
Yeah. The problem you get, it's they've got that much work to do in the building.
Aye.
They've only got that much money.
Yes.
And that is a shame. So what we're trying to do, you know, you might say it's only that much money, but when you look at it, when the scaffold goes down, everything like that, you've got a nice front facade painted, nice stone, roof that's going to last another 50 years.
Yeah.
We're protecting the building for the future.
The works are scheduled to take 25 weeks, along with replacing large sections of the roof. They are painting the front facade, fixing statues and repairing sash windows. The mansion house holds a special place in the construction company's history. It was their first ever commission back in 1747, and they've been responsible for all the works ever completed on the building. Charles is the 8th generation of the family to work on site.
Charles, the history of your company, it's almost as old as the history of this building.
It is. We were started in Doncaster, and this Doncaster Mansion House was one of the first projects they ever worked on. This part here that we're stood on at the moment was when they changed it in 1800 because they decided it wasn't big enough and grand enough, so they built in a whole new extra top floor to put on the building, and this was a project that we did at that time.
But is this one of your favourite buildings?
Well, it has to be, doesn't it? Because it's just such a thing to think that, you know, you're in the town where the business that you're part of was started over 250 years ago. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
It's the next 200.
Thank you.
The building is in need of some TLC. But before I get hands-on with the builders, I want to find out more about this magnificent mansion house.
Hello, Ian. Pleased to meet you. Do you know, if this is what the staircase is like, I can't wait to see the rest of it.
The house was one of acclaimed architect James Payne's first commissions, and originally built over 3 stories, with an additional floor added in 1801. In the basement were the servants' halls, and on the ground floor, rooms for the entertainment of gentlemen. But it was on the principal or first floor where they put the grandest rooms.
Wow.
Come in here.
This is magnificent, Ian.
This is the ballroom or banqueting room.
And what would it have been used for back in the day?
Well, that, just having a good time, basically. Yeah, Doncaster was. It was a key town. It was the road outside is the original A1.
Right.
And the coach traffic was tremendous.
Well, Mansion House really is more than just a civic building, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
yes.
more than a town hall or anything like that.
It's like the two together, basically.
It was built as an extravagant venue for the mayor to entertain his guests, and they raised the funds needed by borrowing money from the locals.
It was the people of Doncaster,
It's part of your
because
heritage.
that's how the money came. It was literally walking around the town and drawing up money.
Yes,
We know that in the second year of the appeal going out,
yes.
they did manage to raise £2,200, which was half the cost of the construction.
Today, this Grade 1 listed building makes its money from renting out its stunning function rooms.
This really is magnificent, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
By heck, I bet they've had some beanos in here.
Everybody.
Could you tell me about some of those big parties that they used to have when it first opened?
One of the biggest was certainly the coronation of King George III
Right.
in the year 1761.
Wow.
The council actually went to the cautionary measure of employing 6 constables on the evening as quite a good supply of liquid refreshment had been supplied.
Are there any records of how much was drunk?
30 gallons of beer, 10 gallons of red and white wine, and 5 gallons of port and brandy.
These sound like my sort of parties, really. Oh gosh, look at this room.
Everyone who is anyone has been wined and dined here, and downstairs they keep the visitors' book.
You can see the calibre of some of the guests that came to Mansion House, can't you?
Oh yes.
The Queen, Prince Philip,
Yeah.
Princess Diana,
Yes.
Princess Margaret,
Yes.
Lord Snowdon. Gosh. You know, I'm beginning to realise the gravity and the importance of Mansion House. You know, because the people that came here, they were every bit as important as people who were going to Buckingham Palace.
Oh yeah.
What's this little book?
That is a book. It's dated back to about 1750, 1760.
It's like a housekeeper's almanac, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's
I love this
a
one.
reference book. Yeah.
On Friday the 19th, visited this house and found all in good order. Ordered Dolly to make a fire in the scullery. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I love these little bits of real life in this grand house. You've got Dolly in the scullery there. You've got Princess Diana here. And you've got Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip there.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Doncaster in a nutshell, isn't it, really?
To ensure this grand building stands tall for another couple of 100 years, it's important the roof remains watertight. The Welsh slates on the top have been weather damaged, and I've come prepared to help the team replace them.
Got my roofer's belt, because the thing is, I've got my copper strips, my copper nails, my measure, everything, your knife, and thing is, because when you're on a roof of this calibre, you don't want to have to keep going up and down your ladders, not with my knees.
All the slates on the original roof are being replaced, but above the extension, which was added 50 years later, they are just removing those which have cracked.
This is Andy. Andy's a roofer extraordinaire, and he's going to show me how it's done.
Right, first of all, we need to remove the damaged slates.
Right, well that's damaged, you just pull it.
No. We use a ripper.
Ripper.
Yeah.
So what's... Oh,
That basically removes the old damaged slate.
it does. So what have we got under here, Andy? Is there anything felt?
Underneath here is the old 1F roofing felt, which you want to have a go at getting the next one out.
Oh, aye, yeah.
So you want to slide it up there, come to the side, slide it over, that's it, and basically pull it out.
It's like boning a chicken. Where do?
So you try and angle it onto the nail.
Oh, the nail.
Yeah. Until it come.
That's it. And of course, the nails are all copper on the roof.
Yeah. Slide up
Yeah.
there. Yeah. It's all right.
I've got a couple there.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens.
Yes, he said that through gritted teeth. Do you love roofing?
I do, my legs don't. The knees aren't what they used to
Oh,
be.
see ya.
Once the damaged slates have been removed, new reclaimed ones are slid into their place.
Don't strangle your hammer, my dad always used to say. Of course, the big problem, and the thing that always confuses me is, how do we get the last one in?
When the roof was laid, they started at the bottom and worked up, nailing in the slates as they went along. But when you're patching, it's impossible to get a nail into the final slate, so a copper strip is used to hold it in place instead.
This might not go straight in. Oh, which it has. So now, you bend the copper strap over, bend that back, so that clip then can't pull down. It'll catch there before the slate can come out.
The roof above the ballroom and the older parts of the building hasn't fared so well, so an area equivalent to 4 terrace houses in a row is being replaced.
So how many slates, Andy, do you reckon you've got to finish on this roof?
I'd say another 15,000.
15,000 slates. Now that's got to be a labour of love.
The roof isn't the only part of the building needing to be made watertight. The sash windows at the top are in a poor state of repair.
We're down to refurbish the existing windows. Now, this was a fixed sash window, so it doesn't open, but the lower sash was particularly vulnerable. The original seal's been removed. It was completely rotten.
The windows are part of the extension built in 1801, but all is not what it seems.
From the records we've got, we believe that the original facade ended somewhere around about here, but to make it a bit more prestigious, they remodeled the facade. We know that because this is a solid piece of wood. There's no casings or weight in there in order to take the original sash workings. And obviously we've also got a rather crude opening formed in the brickwork to suggest the original formation of the structure. So there's no actual need for the window other than for decoration purposes from the front.
Doncaster is home to one of only 5 mansion houses ever built. So, how did it end up so minted? Its prominence was down to the Great North Road, which pass through its centre. Pretty much everyone travelling between London, York and Edinburgh stopped off here.
Doncaster is in a very strategic position, and as a result, travellers would break their journeys from London to Scotland and from other parts of the country, from Birmingham and Sheffield, and the town developed to serve that through travel. So they provided horses, overnight accommodation, and it grew and grew and grew as the economy of the country developed. That increased the wealth and importance of Doncaster.
In the 18th century, the town became the place for fashionable society, with its theatre shows, hunting, racing, gambling and balls at the Mansion House.
In Regency times, Doncaster was a pleasure town. I wouldn't put it as far as to say it was the Las Vegas of its time, but it was certainly the Monaco of its time.
Over the next century, with the advent of the industrial age, the town continued to flourish. Its coal mines, central position and great transport links all helped to increase its affluence and reputation.
There would have been a lot of trade coming in with the new railway system. There would be trade coming in through the boats. So they needed something bigger that befitted their ambitions in this new industrial age.
In 1847, they built a large market hall, and 28 years later, it was joined by the Corn Exchange.
They designed this building, which would have been extremely eye-catching and opulent as people stepped in, you know, something that was really going to evoke sort of civic pride for the people of Doncaster.
The Corn Exchange was built not only for market trading, but as an entertainment venue too. Elgar has conducted symphonies here, and a young Churchill made stirring speeches. Today, Doncaster's market is the biggest traditional market in the north, with over 400 shops, stalls and stands, providing employment for over 1,000 people. It has a loyal band of customers, and in 2015 was named the best food market in Britain by a national competition. Back at the big house, the ornamental decorations above the ballroom windows on the facade are getting a facelift.
As I promised you, you've got to do some work.
Oh, this is more like it. This is art.
What we're doing there is we're gilding.
So, Steve, why would you use gold leaf instead of gold paint?
Gold leaf it makes the features stand out.
Yeah.
Right, and also it doesn't discolor as quick as paint. Right. And so therefore, when you look down from the street, because we are 20 metres up in the air.
Yeah.
Right, all you're going to see is that nice gold embossed figure of that head, and then the good nice gold around it.
Do you know, I've only done gold leafing once, and I was judging a pie competition, so I thought I'd make the trophy. So I made a pie out of that self-hardening clay, and I did it with gold leaf. So it was called the Golden Pie. It was a Golden Pie Award, and it hasn't faded. But by crikey, what a mess there was in our house. You know, the budgie was golden, everything, because it flies. It is like trying to kind of juggle feathers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Luckily up here, they're not using loose leaves, but transfer sheets instead. Gilding glue has already been put on the lady's face, so it's time to cover her in gold.
Shows how it's done, Chris.
So basically we've got a little stiff brush and there's an area left just in the side there.
Yeah.
And you just need to apply it. There we go. Just
I get it. The whole sheet.
yeah, well if you just work down the edge and just keep moving the sheet so that you're always applying gold.
All right, it's gone off, yeah. There's gold coming off. Chris, when do you reckon was the last time that this was gilded?
Around 200 years ago, it's been analysed and there's been no trace of it for a while.
Good grief.
So we're kind of restoring it to how it was originally.
Do you feel odd though sometimes you're working on something like this? Do you think there was a bloke 200 years ago doing exactly what you're doing now?
Yeah, it's very strange really because techniques never really change, it's just stayed the same.
Is the gold leaf very expensive?
Yeah, it's quite expensive. This is it for the entire job. Around £600 worth of gold.
Right, so that's 600 quid's worth.
Yeah.
Crumbs, better not lose that.
No.
What do you reckon? It's still a bit lumpy, I think.
You use these to burnish off now to take all the loose bits of gold off.
All right. Oh, now it's coming something like.
Just like a makeup brush.
I know. Many's the time. Right. Beautiful job.
The mansion house has hosted many important functions over the years, but the hottest tickets in town were those to the banquets and balls held each year to coincide with the classic horse races at Doncaster.
Doncaster Corporation is quite rightly as proud as punch about its mansion house, but equally important to the DNA of Donny is its race course, and I want to find out why. Besides that, I do like a bit of a flutter.
Doncaster has one of the oldest established centres for horse racing in the UK, with records of regular meetings going back to the 16th century. Today it's home to two of the world's longest running and most prestigious races, the Doncaster Cup and the St Leger Stakes.
And coming into the final furlong, it's Harry Builder, Harry Builder, Harry Builder, coming to the line, it's too late, yes, it's Harry Builder wins St Leger.
That's the 700 grand prize money for me then.
Hello, Roderick.
Hi, Dave.
Nice to meet you. So, you're the clerk of the course, Roderick. I mean, I've often heard that term used. You know, you decide what the going's like, you know, whether the ground's hard or soft for the horses. But what have we got today?
It's good to soft, perhaps a bit easier. We've had quite a lot of rain over the last few days.
Yeah, and I think the wonderful thing about Doncaster Racecourse is the tradition. When was the race course opened?
Well, the first race at Doncaster was in 1766. That was the Doncaster Cup, but that was actually held 2 miles down the road at Cantley Common.
Right.
And they moved it here a few years later. But we're most famous for the St Leger, which was run 10 years later, 1776. That's one of the 5 classic races in Great Britain.
Well, the thing I love about racing is there's something for everybody. You can imagine back in the day, the miners from Doncaster would be coming here to have a flutter and watch the racing, but the grand lords and ladies from the mansion house would be coming here.
The great and the good would have started the race course. They certainly put up the stake for that first race.
Yes.
And the racing's just increased in popularity and a broad spectrum of support. And we get fantastic crowds here. I mean, St Leger's, we'll have 30,000 people here for the day of the St Leger. It's a great contribution to the whole town.
The course is just under 2 miles long and has 11 jumps. Today, the traditional birch tree fences are being prepared for the upcoming jump season.
There is an art to building these fences, isn't there?
It takes a bit of practice, to get it laid up right and to give it enough strength.
Because that looks like a thatched roof.
Oh, she's getting there. It's still got a bit of work to do on this one.
Right.
We just can't have them too firm so the fetch the horses down, but we don't want them too soft so the horses go through them.
So it's got to be firm enough so they've got to jump.
Yeah.
But there again, it can't be that firm that you hurt the horses.
Yeah, that's it. Just have a nice bit of give on it.
The fence is primarily made up of birch with conifer at the bottom.
You can imagine you're just running up here, you launch here, and there's a lot to clear.
Oh, there is. Oh, a good bit to clear. It's the little jockeys on the top. They're a good 5 foot higher than the fence when they're going up.
They might only be little, but they've got some guts, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they have, yeah.
Once all the old branches are removed, time for the new. Bundles of birch are put into the belly of the jump to give it structure and strength.
We're right down here now, Steve.
Yeah, if you place that end
into
there, then it'll just give it a bit of
Oh, I gotcha.
gives it a bit of structure then.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of spring to that, isn't there now?
Yeah.
Still wouldn't like to jump over it. What an honour. The next time I have a flutter, put a bet on at Doncaster, I know this fence, I've had a go at it.
The racecourse is one of the first ever built in the UK, and the St Leger's Stakes is up there with Ascot and the Grand National for racing fans.
And that's one of the biggest prizes in horse racing.
Absolutely, the trophy for the oldest of the 5 classic races, the St Leger.
Wow, look at that. A symphony in silver and gold. But it's what it stands for that counts. That's what you get when you win the St Leger. It's beautiful though. Roderick, can you take me photo? One day, Roderick, if I can buy a horse, this could be mine, all mine. But I better start saving up. It's beautiful. Listen to the crowds. See ya.
Back at the mansion house, there are still a couple of months to go with the restoration works. As well as vital weatherproofing, they're returning the front of the building back to how it would have looked in its heyday.
The actual detailing is going to be picked out in like a gold, and there's a shield which is going to be red with white. It's going to be a bit in your face, but that's kind of how it was originally, and that's kind of what we're trying to get back to.
The team tried to use as many of the old materials and traditional methods as possible, but in some cases they do have to go with the new and improved. Holding the stones together at the top of the building are metal cramps. Over time, moisture has caused them to rust and they need to be removed.
The cramps finally coming. That's the cramp, which is starting to rust. Probably not as bad as some of them, but it is deteriorating.
If they're left in, the rust will cause the cramps to expand and crack the stone.
The new cramps that are going in are of stainless steel, which probably wasn't around in them days as such, and it's new technology that's gone forward, and obviously they're preferring to use these non-rusty materials to protect the building and do a better job.
But these stones aren't the only ones in danger of crumbling without essential maintenance work.
When they cleaned the building, jet washed it, it revealed a crack on the lion's paw, if you like, hand, and we've got to stick it back on, but we'll have to pin it so that it doesn't fall off.
The Doncaster lion has proudly stood here since 1831, so the guys need to be very careful when they drill the holes so not to cause any further damage.
Need to line it up. Right, now we'll just have to stand with it until the glue goes off, and it's hopefully stays where it's supposed to.
Site manager Steve and his team are restoring some civic pride back to the building so Donny's residents can enjoy its splendour for years to come.
In its day, Doncaster was the place to be, renowned for its high society, its highway and its historic racecourse. It's well worthy of its magnificent mansion house. Cue the music! I tell you what, Steve, I'm glad we fixed that roof. Can you imagine if that ceiling got wrecked?
Yeah, I just hope you put them slates in the right position, because if not, I'll be repairing the ceiling tomorrow morning.
All right, anyway, are you dancing?
Next time I'll be at Wakefield Cathedral in West Yorkshire. I'll get the chance to unravel a piece of the cathedral's past when a time capsule is discovered.
Gosh, this is an incredible feeling.
I'll be discovering the link between this and the cathedral, as well as uncovering what really lies beneath its floor.
Whoa, that's really quite spooky.